Hello and welcome to the first podcast of 2025. This is the Backbone Zone. My name is Tyson Jones-Penny and thanks for joining me. This is a solo one today. Been loving doing all of the guests, but this one's a special episode, so I thought I'd jump in solo. This is kind of where I started the podcast. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get guests every week, but this is a particularly special podcast that I feel like I need to just be able to express ideas and thoughts and kind of go on runs with what I'm talking about. Not scripted, not edited, just go on a bit of a rant, you could say. So you're wondering, the title of the video, 2025 and everything has changed. So basically this is a big announcement for Backbone, and it's that as of March 1st we will cease to be a BMX shop. So you've heard that. Your ears and eyes don't need adjusting. After 20 years as a BMX shop, Backbone BMX will no longer continue to be just a standard BMX shop. Backbone BMX is me, and my wife actually has been helping me with customer service and things like that, so shout out to my wife. But basically I want to be able to take Backbone to the next level with the apparel, and that's why from now and then as I transition to not being just a standard BMX shop anymore, I am going to go into just doing BMX apparel. So if you think of brands like Little Devil and Square One and UGP and Doomed, I guess now, and Heavies, things like that, I want to be able to bring that to you as Backbone, the brand. So this is where I'm at with it, and I guess I need to explain exactly my thoughts, and I hope that you'll listen to the rest of this podcast because it really breaks it down, or I will be breaking it down. So my passion lies with BMX without a doubt, and I hope that none of you question that of me. I like to think that Backbone, since I've worked at Backbone and then become an owner of Backbone and now sole owner of Backbone, we have put on more events, jams, things for BMX than any other shop in certainly in Australia. And we did coaching at 52 schools across Canberra. We coached over 11,000 kids. I did coaching 5 days a week for 2 years. I had done one-on-one coaching with riders for several years. Riders who you now know, like Sarah Nicky, who just got top 10 at the World Championships in Abu Dhabi. So shout out to Sarah Nicky. I coached her for several years, and we've got this killer group of riders all over the world that rep Backbone, and for me that's where I want to take this, because basically in Australia I'm doing all of these things, and I'm not saying that other shops aren't doing this, and this is my whole point. This is where the whole point lies, is that I want to see BMX prosper. I want to see shops like, Local BMX, Blue Groove, Lux, Strictly, Anchor. I want to see these hardcore shops that are doing BMX prosper from BMX. And with all the events that I run and all the things that I've been doing, I know that there is just a competitive aspect with this stuff in Australia. There's shops that will, keep their event to themselves, or maybe if a rider from a perfect example. I just won't beat around the bush with it. So with Act Jam, for example, there'd be a lot of times where we put on this event. There's a lot of riders that come from, say, Lux, and they'll post about it on their Instagram, for example, but then not tag Backbone in it. It's only been very recently that they've sort of shouted out Backbone as the people who organise and run something like Act Jam, which is a world-revered event. You know, it's essentially one of the biggest jams in the world. And I don't want that. And I don't want them to feel like, I don't want Lux to have to feel like they can't talk about a sick BMX event that happens in Australia that has all these like riders come from all over the world. I want the shops to be able to celebrate the things that happen in BMX. And that's why I want to bow out of the competitive pie. I want to be able to put on events. This is a big thing with what I want to do with Backbone. So I'm sorry if I'm jumping around, but like I said, I didn't script this. It's not a press release in the sense that I've gone through and written a big concise Word document and now reading it verbatim. My passion is building BMX. That's the core values and the 3 pillars that you've seen probably on our social media and website. Community, culture, character. Backbone BMX stands for those 3 things. I want to be able to build BMX so that BMX prospers from that. I want to see BMX shops prosper from that. Now, I have to give the example of a pie. So the issue that I see is that there's a pie in BMX, right? And the pie is money. Let's just say money. And if there is 100 shops trying to get a piece of that pie, then obviously the pie is going to be very small. The less shops there are, the more pie there is to go around. I am in a point, having done a BMX shop for 20 years, that I am willing to take my chunk of the pie away from myself as a BMX shop, so that hopefully the other BMX shops can reap the rewards of that new percentage of pie that becomes available. Yeah, so I thought I'd jump back in quickly. I know that I'd been speaking about the pie, which is money in BMX, and I didn't get to illustrate my point with that, so I just thought I'd touch on that a little bit further. Basically, if there's, a pie which is money, and I said I wanted to see a lot of shops prosper from BMX. I want to see brands prosper from BMX, all this type of stuff. We're going through a stage in BMX, and we always go through this stage, just people might not hear it as much, where there's no money in BMX, and you might think as a BMXer, why does that matter? And for a lot of people, I guess it doesn't matter. Hopefully you're always going to ride regardless of whether you are sponsored or whatever it is. Like, if you're just into BMX, you ride because you love it, and that's obviously the whole point. But the thing about it is, this industry is made up of hundreds, thousands of people whose livelihood depend on BMX. I'm one of those people. I'm just lucky enough that I've put myself in a situation where I need very, very little money to live. I try and keep, overheads as low as I can. But, with shops, like, this is not a game. Like, this is people who have gone out and started shops because they love BMX. They want to be able to somehow contribute to the BMX world. So they start a shop. But these people have families, and, they've got mouths to feed, and there's people that need to be able to pay for mortgages and things like that from BMX. This isn't like we're all trying to get so rich and I want to make sure that everyone's driving around in Lambos. Far from it, and I think that no doubt you will see that there's not very many, if any, BMXers that have flashy things. And if they do, good on them. that shouldn't really affect you. But what I'm getting at is, when I say prosper, I just want to see people be able to make a livelihood and be able to pay their rent or mortgage or whatever it is from it. I'm definitely taking a gamble on myself by, hoping that I can sell enough Backbone stuff to at least make some sort of living from it. But yeah, that's where I'm at with speaking about the pie, is just, at the end of the day, an industry exists because people want to be a part of this thing that we love called BMX. And if there was even less money in it, there would be even less events, and there would be even less BMX brands, and there would just be even less BMX. So there'd be, I've said this in a different podcast, that you can find the link in the description. I'll put the link to it. It's I think called Why BMX Needs to Get Bigger or something like that. But anyway, it was one of my early podcasts. I just wanted to touch on that. I think that it's important to realize that this is a livelihood for a lot of people, and it's really sad if people can't continue to make BMX their livelihood, because at the end of the day, the majority of the world does work for people that don't ride BMX, and BMX riders should count themselves very lucky that they are able to contribute with their hard-earned dollar to a BMX rider who has a BMX shop or a BMX brand or a BMX apparel company like Backbone's going to be. So I just wanted to touch on that. If you see me sweating my absolute guts out, it's because it is summer, it is hot in Australia, but even when it's not, I want to make sure that I've got electrolytes in my body to make sure that I don't get things like headaches and cramps and general fatigue. It all comes from losing electrolytes. Make sure that you don't lose electrolytes by taking an electrolytes supplement like Sodi. Sodi is an Australian-owned company that uses Australian salt, and it is awesome to be able to take with you. It comes in little sachets. You just empty one of those out in water and it gives you the right amount of electrolytes. So sodium, magnesium, potassium, all the proper amounts, not this like little tiny amount that you find in the sugar waters that they sell at the servo. Sodi is as legit as it gets. If you want to try Sodi, head to the website sodi.com.au/Tyson and use the code BACKBONE to save 15% off. That's sodii.com.au/Tyson and use the code BACKBONE for 15% off. You will love it. Back to the show. Now, I would really love to see emphasis on local BMX shops, not local BMX shop, the brand, or the shop local, but the BMX shops that have supported riders of the area. I want to see a big emphasis on that, or to see people just support BMX shops that they think are doing sick stuff. But I am hoping that by doing that and becoming an apparel brand, by becoming Backbone BMX clothing, that BMXers will be like, fuck yeah, I've got something that I can wear, that I can be proud to wear because it's a BMX brand. And I know for a fact that Backbone does sick shit for BMX worldwide. We've had a lot of BMX riders support us by buying our clothing across the whole world, and I think that our reputation precedes us as a shop, to be honest. So it's something that I love, the idea of being able to, rather than take a piece of that pie, my whole intention with Backbone is to grow the pie. So I want to put on events that every BMX shop is psyched that I put it on, rather than being like, oh, let's just not talk about that one because it's a Backbone event. I want to coach kids that are wearing a freaking BMX Center t-shirt that then are like, yeah, I love Backbone, I'm going to wear a t-shirt. And for the shops to not be so worried about, Backbone as a shop anymore. I want people to feel proud to wear Backbone shirts because they're a fucking BMX rider and they're hyped on BMX and they're hyped on what we do and they're hyped on a community and they're hyped on the sickness that BMX brings without having to worry about, oh man, I'm trying to get hooked up by a BMX center, or oh, I'm trying to, I like supporting local. Now, we've had a lot of riders in general that over the years buy from all shops just because they see that as a way of saying, oh, look, I respect what you're doing over here and I respect what you're doing over here. I want to buy like things from all of you. And I think that's super sick too. But this is where I'm at with, again, having just a clothing brand, an apparel brand. For me, BMX is my life. I own a BMX shop. I coach in my spare time. I'm trying to write freaking grants to government entities to be able to get funding so I can put on events. I'm always thinking about different jams and things to be putting on, and I try my best to do as many things as I can. So that again leads me back to having this realization that if I'm not a shop and trying to pack orders or stock the latest things and spend all my time doing those things, then I'll hopefully be able to have much more time freed up to focus on doing kick-ass events all throughout the year, as well as hopefully the BMX community getting behind and supporting Backbone through wearing a t-shirt, a hat, gloves, whatever it is. So yeah, I've got a lot of passion in BMX and I've got a lot of passion to grow BMX, and I think that this has got to be the biggest and best way forward for BMX. I know that I've spoken to a few people in the industry and I think that they are a little bit probably confused by this because it seems to make, obviously you can make maybe more money from selling bike parts, but this is the whole thing too. Like, say for example, bike brands and BMX brands that I really love, I can still support those brands because at the end of the day, the slice of pie that there is for people buying bike parts, I'm going to be able to hopefully, put my 2 cents in as to what I think is worth buying. I don't want to have to, say for example with We The People and things like that, I will be stoked to be able to help to push those brands through events that I'm doing, and then maybe they would have bought it from Backbone if they wanted to, but now they can choose to go to their local bike shop and buy, or local BMX shop I should say. So I want to be very clear about this. My hope is that more people get persuaded to go and buy from their BMX shop that they want to support, rather than going to a regular bike shop. So I'm probably going to get like a lot of certainly questions about this whole move. At the end of the day, for me, I need to do what's right in my heart and my gut, and I truly believe maybe it won't work out for me, but I believe that I can do more good for BMX by not being a shop and by being a brand that focuses on actually building BMX than by someone who's in here packing orders for most of the day and trying to, persuade you guys on buying salt wheel set from me rather than buying it from whatever other shop that has it. So yeah, it's going to be a big thing. So in terms of what it is looking like on the way forward, so no doubt if you're hard out on following Backbone and you've been hyped on what we've been doing as Backbone BMX for the last 20 years, then no doubt you're one of those people that wears a Backbone t-shirt already. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, it's like one of the most powerful, and it means so much to me in a sense that it it chokes me up thinking about the amount of people that will choose to wear a Backbone shirt, or just rep Backbone, because that's essentially been me and Riss for the last 20 years. So there's been Ev Danes that has drawn certain designs, but it's and Bentley too back in the day. Russell actually did the heart logo on this hat, so Russell Brindley. So there's been obviously a crew that's been a part of Backbone, and if I forget someone, I'm really sorry, but I want you to know that I know about you guys. But in terms of the people who rep Backbone, wear it, that is one of the most exciting things to me, is making BMX clothing that people want to wear. And I said it in an Instagram video just recently. It's we're not skateboarding, we're BMX, and I think that it's something that I grew up doing, was wearing Little Devil and Square One and all of that stuff, and I'd be hyped on wearing an FBM t-shirt and things like that, and I just want to be able to create that hype for people. And this is essentially the day one of it. This is going to come out, everyone's going to find out that Backbone's not going to be a shop come March 1st, and hopefully there'll be a lot of BMXers that want to fuck with Backbone, once they can breathe a little bit easier knowing that we're not going to be a competitor for their shop that they ride for, or their local shop, or whatever it might be. So in talking of 2025, I will be, like I said, on Instagram, I'll be going down to Canberra in the next 2 weeks to run the ACT New South Wales State Championships for BMX. And then I actually will be coaching the weekend before that in Bagara, doing some free BMX workshops there. And then actually this weekend too, so the 18th, I'll be doing a free workshop at the Bundaberg City Skate Park. And then February 15 and 16, I'll be going to help out with the Nationals and commentating that. So a lot of people may be wondering why I get involved with the state titles and the coaching and the Nationals, and I do things with riders who are Olympians, but I also just love digging trails. And as a side note, I've been digging trails by myself since I moved here in August, so I just haven't posted anything about it. But I want to be able to be someone that, it's like John Dye said, he's got a sticker that we actually probably ripped off, but a few years ago we took this saying that he had that was "keep BMX in the hands of BMXers." Now, I 100% agree with that, but what my intentions with doing these things like the Nationals and doing, speaking to Olympic riders and things like that, is to have those riders have a connection to what I feel Backbone is, which is hardcore BMX. Hardcore BMX to me is caring about BMX. I have worked really hard to get rid of my ego in BMX and think that my particular choice of what I like to do in BMX is the only choice that people should have in BMX. I want a 10-year-old kid to associate with Backbone because they see that as a representation of their hardcore BMX, as much as I want the 45-year-old dude that's at the trails that could not give a fuck about the Olympics. I want him to feel like Backbone is a representation of BMX too, because I just want to represent BMX. I want to take the power off of these companies that are outside of BMX. So, for example, Oz Cycling, who runs the Nationals and the Olympics and whatever you want to do, like the IOC and things like that. I want people to see that there is BMXers that are riding those things, and I want to be the one that bridges the gap. Like someone like Logan Martin, for example. Yes, he's an Olympian. Yes, he's a big time dude that makes a profession out of riding his BMX bike. I want to show everyone that he is still a BMXer, that after speaking with him on the podcast, he froths riding new parks. Like, you can even see it on his Instagram right now. He's running pegs and things like that, because he's interested in still finding the fun in BMX. So my attempt with this whole thing is to try to just show that BMX at the end of the day is fun, and it's about community, and it's about the culture, and it's about building the character of yourself. That is what I 100% believe that BMX is about, is those three things. And that's what Backbone is about representing and being a spokesperson for that. You can still do a fucking 900 tail whip and still have those things and still be a part of the BMX culture and still intertwine yourself and help to grow the BMX community. I would hate to fragment BMX more. I want people to feel like they can come together. What we should be doing is thinking about fragmenting ourselves from the rest of society. I think that it's sick that BMX is a counterculture. I think that it's sick that BMX isn't that well known. Yes, it's in the Olympics, but to be a BMXer, to be a lifetime BMX rider, not many people get to experience that feeling. So I want people to feel together in that journey. It doesn't matter if you fucking dig trails, or if you ride street, or if you fucking flatland, or if you race, or if you fucking double flare. Like, all of those things are irrelevant. What is relevant is you choose to ride BMX because it's super, super fun. So, and the freedom of it and things like that. So, to go back to it and to finish with this, my journey with Backbone is far from over. Of course, now I am going to be asking for the BMX community's support. Go and buy a Backbone t-shirt, buy a hat, wear the shit, run a sticker. My attempt with this is to be the bigger man, and hopefully in my heart, and what I feel is right to do, is I want to be there to support and grow BMX as a whole, and support, like I said, the hardcore BMX shops. I think that all the regular bike shops should fucking, stop carrying BMX. Because like I said about the pie, the brands that sell to regular bike shops is, if they stop selling to regular bike shops and just sold to BMX shops, the pie they wouldn't lose out on money. It would just go to a different person. That's where I'm at with this, for me. I'm consistently, as in Backbone is consistently one of the top 5 dealers of BMX International. Every year we spend a lot of money just at BMX International. So my hope is that money will get dispersed to the other BMX shops, and I can help support those BMX shops by I would love to be able to, say, work with a shop like Blue Groove or BMX Centre. And again, I'm sorry if I've forgotten any other BMX shops. It's just what's coming to mind. I'd love to work with those guys, and they're putting on a jam, and it's a Blue Groove jam, and I hope they sell like 50 bikes out of the jam or whatever parts need to be sold. But I want to be there and help to, like, whether I can help commentate or whether I can, add to the prizes by giving Backbone prizes, because I'm not going to be there to take their BMX parts and bike sales away. I'm hoping that we can both benefit from that. And then by me, like I said, focusing my time and energy onto helping to grow BMX. I want to be able to, it's a very cliche thing to say, but I've got very big dreams of how I can do that, and I think that it can be realized, and I believe that, to go back to the keep BMX in the hands of BMXers thing, and this is a bit of maybe a sidebar, I think that it's smart for BMX to take advantage of the outside industry, so long as they are being able to funnel it into BMX. So, for example, Boost Mobile, who I thank a lot for jumping into sponsoring ACJAM for the last 2 years. Because of those guys, I was able to put on a way bigger event. The prize money's always gotten bigger since I've gotten outside of BMX industry sponsors. I think that is only a good thing, to be able to do that for the benefit of hardcore BMX. I would much prefer to have outside of industry sponsors come and help facilitate new events and things like that, and have their money go into BMX rather than go into, I don't know, road bike riding or something like that. Like, if I can have, so long as it's not compromising you as a person, or going against your beliefs and your morals, and affecting your character. Like the easiest way to explain that would be it's not like I would put on a jam have Winnie Blue, like Winfield cigarette company, sponsoring it, because I think that shit's super bad for you, and even if they offered you a shitload of money, I wouldn't be into it. So these are lessons that I've learnt from 20 years as a BMX shop. I am hoping to be around as a BMX brand for 20 more years, and being able to offer value and things to BMX. That's why I do this podcast. That's why I coach. That's why I put on so many jams. I'm just this kid that grew up from, in a poor household in a country town, and BMX saved me, essentially. and it showed me the world, and I want to be able to continue to bring that to other people. So hopefully I can do that. I mean, I'm definitely putting all my eggs in the basket of Backbone being the sickest fucking brand alive. So go and get it. But yeah, I mean, fuck it, right? I can only try, and I can only do sick stuff for BMX. And if that doesn't, there's no if that doesn't work out. Like that's my thing. I'm gonna be trying my best to just make this as sick as it can be for the rest of time, and make BMX as sick as it can be for the rest of time. And now that my son is obsessed with it, I can see from all avenues where BMX is for everyone. The thing that I've learnt with BMX is that it is so many different things to every rider, but at the core of it is the pillars of Backbone, which is the community that you get to share it with, and the friendships that you make, the culture that it provides, and the seeing of new things, and of course the character that it builds. I personally believe that BMX teaches you to have resilience and patience and strength and character and toughness. That's what Backbone stands for. So anyway, yeah, March 1st, no longer a BMX shop. If you want to jump on Backbone now, be one of those people that you maybe didn't wear a Backbone t-shirt before because maybe you had reasons not to because you sported other BMX shops. Well, now's the time. I'll be looking to hopefully try and re-establish extra riders to the team, and I've got Act Jam coming November 7, 8, 9 in Canberra. I am doing an event here up in Bundaberg called the Rum City Rumble, and I am fairly certain that will be April 8 and 9. So hopefully you can get to those two things. I have other events that I'm trying to get pushed through, so we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you guys updated with that. But I did say that everything's going to change in 2025. It's only going to be for the better, and I just want to say one more time thanks to everyone who has supported Backbone over the last 20 years. It means the world. Thank you if you run a sticker, if you come to one of the jams, if I've met you, if you wear a hat, if you've bought a bike. It's all meant the world. It keeps the stoke alive. So thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one.